From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Tonight, what will happen to Justin Sparks' legislative seat? We'll talk to Sergeant Gary Weigert about that. Legendary investigative reporter Elliott Davis. And the Right Mind studio band, Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now, putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
It may be Todd, but guess what? I have a new name. A new name. I do, buddy. The liberal, my liberal lovers or liberal haters or whatever, they've given me a new name, okay? Now, I mean, and I got to tell you, this one finally got to me, all right? Because, you know, I've been called, they call me racist, they call me fascist, they call me Nazi, pedo lover, you know, all these things. I mean, and I just, none of these are true.
Most of the letters in fascist do make up the word artist. Maybe they're just dyslexic and they're saying it wrong, because you are one of the best artists I know.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Your cartoons probably aren't even causing any controversy.
Well, they have now, because they've given me a brand new name, and this one is finally, it's really gotten to me. Are you ready for this one? My new name by my liberal fans is White Trash. White and okay.
I thought you were going to say turkey just because we had Black Friday and Thanksgiving.
White
turkey.
They're calling me White Trash. Now, none of these other names got to me, okay? But this one has finally gotten to me, because you know, as my bestest buddy, how much time and effort I put into my bronzer, okay? So I am not white. I am mocha, tropical mocha trash, okay? Let's just get that straight. I am not white trash. I am tropical mocha trash. All right? Can we get that straight?
This sounds classist,
Yes.
because when I hear the term white trash, that seems like you are judging someone based on their economic value in life.
don't
How
know.
much money they have, where they
don't
live.
know.
You live in friggin' Baldwin, baby. I mean, you are not white trash. I've seen the people you live across the street from that have fights in the street, and you are not one of them.
They certainly do. They had another fight in the street, by the way. You know, I just it. I tell you what, there's so much entertainment out in Westco, as we call it, West County. I mean, everybody thinks all the good stuff happens up in north, you know, the north side and stuff. They
got that cool tornado back in May. You got nothing.
We've got like episodes of Cops happening in my subdivision. I mean, we got this one house, okay, and if they listen to the show, just please don't start this stuff until after 6 a.m., okay? I mean, the cops show up, they're having somebody got kicked out of their house, somebody's back, everybody's living together, and they're all fighting, and the cops are showing up, and get this, though. My wife, who I can't bring up on the show, and I'm going to start right off by doing so, she always wants me to say, or she wants me to go out there and say something, or see what's going on. Why don't you go see what's happening? What's going on? What am I going to do?
Take our lucky baseball bat and go see what the neighbors are up to.
I mean, what? And usually it's like, oh, stay out of this, stay out of it. No, she wants me to get into the heat. I think she wants to see me carted off to jail, is what I think.
Well, I mean, you've got all your teeth. You have not one bit of meth mouth. I don't understand how someone could call you white trash.
I don't know either. I don't put my car up on blocks anymore in my front yard. I don't set my furniture on fire. I don't wear, all of my T-shirts have full sleeves. I don't get it. And so that's the newest thing. And not once, but twice now, I've had somebody here's the thing. Did you see the photo because my new Elks magazine came out.
I did see that.
Yes, and I looked at the centerfold, and I made a joke that the Elks magazine has full reindeer nudity. Now, that's like a ha-ha, isn't it? It's a joke. And that was the first one I got. You are such white trash.
You pay dues to the Elks. I feel like that lets you say little jokes if you want.
I can say anything I want, and that does not make me white trash, which, by the way, did I mention that I'm tropical mocha trash? Do you like this shade of bronzer I'm wearing? Because it's my winter blend.
You know, I'm very sensitive in the sniffer area, and I find that your bronzer is not offensive at all.
Thank you.
It's got a light coconut, but nothing too lofty that's going to knock me out. Like if you're a dead person and you put the little smelling salts in their nose and they come back to life, it doesn't smell like that.
Right. Yeah, speaking of covenant, we were talking about that last week, about the woman. Did we bring this up? About the woman? Did we already talk about this?
We talked a little bit about the woman in Thailand, but I probably edited it out because I was worried she was going to get offended. But
oh, yeah.
she's back. Alive. She's alive, so it's good.
They were going to burn her up. They were going to cremate her, and she comes, and I thought she was a local person, but it was from Thailand, right? And it was like, oh, they're going to burn me up. It was that kind of thing. And she was alive, and I thought maybe we could try to have her on the show, because I thought, hey, we've never had a near burned up and incinerated person on the show before.
Yeah, there was the woman who showed up in a casket, and her brother plopped her off and said, hey, can you burn this up real quick? He didn't have a death certificate. He just said, just throw it in the incinerator real quick. I wouldn't even check by opening the lid. Well, they heard little knocks.
Yeah, just like that.
She said, housekeeping, and they opened up the door, because that's what you do when you hear that.
That's right.
And she wasn't dead at all. Apparently, she had all her organs already, marked for sale on the black market. The brother was pulling a scam, which I appreciate a good scam.
Well, you've talked about, like, at your Thanksgiving that you had a little bit of family disputes, and I always have family disputes on my end. But can you imagine getting into a little bit of a ruckus with a sibling and, like, dropping them off at the morgue and saying, hey, burn this sucker, I'm done with her?
I would never do that to one of the human beings. Maybe one of the dogs that I've got to deal with. My mom, she lives in a tiny little house.
Yeah.
And she takes in any dog that's offered to her. She helps out at this old retirement home, and one of the dogs couldn't stay there anymore. And she said, I'll take him in. She already had 2 dogs. It's like you're drowning. Throw me another dog. Why don't you? And it is just a mess over there. Thanksgiving dinner was it was quite an adventure.
Well, I don't want you to just leave it at that, because that's a cliffhanger, or as we call it, a turkey hanger. So you have the family over at your home, and your mom, who I'm sure put a lot of trouble into this meal here, and you're saying that there was, like, dog problems?
Yeah, we didn't go to my home. You really got that wrong right now when you had the slip of the tongue. So I'm going to have to correct you.
Slip of the tongue?
We were over at Mother's home.
Is that like a lickety-split?
But I did used to live there, so maybe you were right. Maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh with that correction. But yeah, I went over to my childhood home where Mother still lives.
Oh, okay.
And she's got 3 dogs. And as soon as I walk in, there is just a wall of dog stink that almost knocked me out. I almost fell backwards into the snow. We had a bit of a snowstorm that weekend, and I just thought, I can't believe I brought my girlfriend into this situation, because as soon as she smelled it, too, her eyes started to water. And I thought, we better just get used to this. It took about 45 minutes to become nose blind.
Nose blind?
To the dog smell. And then TV too high. I hate TV too high.
Yes, well, explain that, because you've said that. So for those who don't know, if a television in a home is too high off the ground, that drives you bonkers, doesn't it?
If you're sitting on the couch and you have to look up because the TV is above your head, that is TV too high. I hated that.
Yes.
And the selections for Thanksgiving Day television were awful, too. My mom's Bo, he had on Godzilla vs. Mothra. And
Godzilla?
If you're not going to pay attention to the TV, at least you'd like to have something in the background you can listen to. But nope, just people going, Godzilla Mothra.
Oh, no. See, you're eating let me get this straight.
Eating my turkey.
Waiting for the cranberries to be passed. And meanwhile, it smells like a kennel in the background. It's like, is that what you're saying is going on?
That's exactly what was going on. It was driving me insane. And also, when Godzilla ended, I thought, please put on something a little more American. This is Thanksgiving. We need to be more patriotic. And they turn on BBC, which was a big no-no. You don't put on BBC during American holidays.
No.
But they were showing Smokey and the Bandit 2, which was maybe them laughing at us. Because the whole plot of Smokey and the Bandit 2 is like transporting an elephant across the countries. I don't know what the heck it's about.
And that's the movie.
And that's the movie that was on after that.
So we
should have had a vote on what the background movie should have been.
We win the Revolutionary War, and they steal Smokey and the Bandit and ruin your Thanksgiving. That's just terrible.
It's like they're laughing at what they think America is. Just guys in cowboy hats, driving Firebirds, pushing elephants. And they always make it 2 years and 364 days now for your sentence. Because
why?
No more jury trials over in England if it's going to be less than 3 years. They've totally gotten rid of that.
They did?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Jury trials scrapped for crimes with sentences of less than 3 years. It's like when you buy a warranty and your car dies the day after.
And that's it?
Yeah.
So you get off. So you're saying that
just a judge who's going to throw the book at you just because he's got a long docket. He's showing off his docket abilities in front of you.
What?
He's like, here's your verdict.
I'll show you my docket. Do you do Christmas cards? I mean, do you say, I don't, first of all, I'm going to preface this. They are jacking up the price of postage again. Not that I even know what it is, okay? But now, I mean, anybody that sends out a Christmas card at this point has to either have a lot of confidence and be a millionaire, because it costs so much to send these things out. Plus, you have no guarantee your mail's even going to get there at this point. And meanwhile, you get this goofy picture of somebody's family months later, and by the time you get it, it's like April Fool's Day.
I do Christmas cards, but what I do, write this down. This is a Christmas
I'm writing
card
it down,
hack.
I am.
Now, I'm good at Photoshop, so I take
Yes, you are.
a photo of me and my lady, and then I'll put some stuff on top of it, like a wreath or something that says Happy Christmas. I'll put that in the photo.
Right.
And then I just send that photo off to Walgreens or CVS, and I print them off at a penny a peach.
Penny what?
Penny a peach.
Penny a peach?
A penny per each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like a penny per picture if you send it off to Walgreens or CVS. So I print off 50.
Yeah.
And then I pick them up, and then I steal my materials from work. We've got envelopes everywhere. So I steal all the envelopes, and then we have a postage meter that's full of postage.
So you're embezzling from our company here?
Yeah, you ever have big companies will have this. They'll have a scale. They'll have a scale, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you put it on the scale, and then it'll print off the postage for you. But you got to load it up. You got to prepay your postage, and it's loaded up on the scale. So what you do is when everyone leaves work, you put all your little envelopes on the postage meter.
Oh, I like
and it
this.
sucks it through, and then it prints the postage on the envelope.
So you do that here.
And you just do 50 of them real quick when no one's looking. And then you put them in the mail the next day.
That is amazing. That is bold, my friend. I'm saying big bold, because do you know that if you even tried to take a bottle of water out of the refrigerator here that's marked for guest only, that you go into detention for 3 months? And because I've tried to take a bottle of water, and Michelle has come in and hit me with a brick and say, no, this is only for the guest. And you're saying you go a step further by stealing all their office supplies and postage?
You know, if there's a roll of stamps in somebody's drawer, that's kind of too.
Oh, yeah, well, that's okay.
Too illegal.
No,
because
okay.
You're rooting through somebody's drawers. But if there is
through their drawers, like in their like in their pants, or like in their desk.
Both. So, but if there's a Pitney Bowes machine, sitting on the big office furniture when you walk in.
Oh, free game.
And that's just free. That's just office furniture. You know how you use the printer, right?
Yeah.
It just costs 75 cents to print something at this one.
Yeah.
So you're just printing off a little bit of postage. It's 75 cents. Who cares?
Can you take furniture and stuff like that too? I mean, can you just help yourself to whatever you see? Because that could save us a lot of cash during the holidays.
I do recognize that there is a gray area with what kind of supplies you're allowed to steal.
Do you think
toilet paper?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, toilet paper.
I'm just going through mentally what type of things it is okay to steal. And of course, you can make long distance phone calls at work. That's fine. And anything that's in the bathroom is kind of fair game. I wouldn't recommend stealing all of the soap, not the actual dispenser, but if you have your own little container and you just want to and put that in another container to take home, that's fine.
That didn't look like you were squirting soap.
Because my big pet peeve is people who smell bad. So
you've said this.
If you're stealing soap, go for it. I want you to smell better when you come to work. If you need it, take it.
Say you worked with somebody, and it's not me, because I always come in here smelling like a flower, and also like Mocha Tropic, bronzer. But say if there's somebody here at the office, we're not going to mention names, Ethan, that didn't smell good. Do you think that? Would you feel bold enough? Bold's a big name for me today for some reason. Would you feel bold enough to say, "Hey, you don't smell very good today," or would you just kind of keep it to yourself and waited till you just got indoctrinated to it?
I only tell the girl back at home about the people that smell bad at work. I never
you tell me too.
I would. We're best friends.
I know. When I see you tell me.
You're the only two people in the world I tell about the smelly people at work. But anyone who works in this close proximity, you really should use more deodorant.
Yeah, I know.
And if you have animals that you live with, there's a good chance that they pooped in your pocket or something.
I think that may be the case.
Just check all your hoodies for cat poops before you come into work. That's my number one recommendation.
It's that's a wonderful aftershave. What are you wearing? Oh, it's cat litter. Wow, it smells like it.
Who's scooping it? Are you scooping it, or is Mom scooping it? No one. No one's scooping it. It's just taking over the laundry room. If you have your kitty litter in the laundry room.
Why is it kitty litter? It's cat litter, isn't it?
Yeah, if you have your kitty litter in the laundry room with the poops and you're doing laundry next to it, you're really not getting your clothes clean at all. It's just wafting straight into the dryer. It's not helping.
And then you drop your socks and everything into the cat
Constantly.
litter, and you're like, 5-second rule. It's like, nope, your feet smell like cat turds. Did you hear this? That's a great story, but that reminded me of something. I just read on my way over here that, get this, Jill, the one that abuses him and makes him run for president, even though he doesn't have a brain, she was seen in Nantucket, okay? Nantucket. She was seen there in a lingerie shop buying lingerie. Now, here's what I'm wondering. First of all, Joe sleeps all day, so she can't be getting all doiled up in her lingerie for Joe, because he's not going to know what in the hell's going on. So who's she getting all lingeried up for? I think I know who it is.
Her patients? I mean, she's a doctor, right?
Donald Trump. I think she and Donald Trump.
Oh, she's going to be the second lady.
I think that's just what it is. I think, that's one of the reasons. You ever notice that people are fighting all the time? They don't really fight. They really kind of, they really love each other. I think she's getting all doiled up. Is that even a word?
No, it's dollied.
Dollied up.
Dolly partoned up.
Dolly partoned up. Yeah, but anyway, she's buying lingerie on Nantucket Island. And meanwhile, Joe is walking around the streets of Nantucket with an ice cream cone, trying not to get hit by a trolley.
I did just watch, speaking of Dollied Up, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Wonderful film. Dolly Parton plays a madam of a whorehouse.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Jill is maybe going to try and make some extra money on the side. That could be part of it.
That could be part of it.
You said Nantucket. Don't they have those limericks down there?
There once was a man from Nantucket who
once had a wife whose last name was Jacobs.
And she got lingerie, and Joe went back to sleep, ate his ice cream cone, and got hit by a bus. And everybody lives happily ever after. Speaking of that, guess what? We have a great show today. We have a great show, I think. Was that a good segue?
Well, there was a point where you took your pen and you played drums on the microphone. Yeah, so that segue was a little rough. If you want to do it,
Mitch, who has not been here, has anybody brought up Mitch? Has anybody seen Mitch? Has he fallen off a cruise ship?
We got a Mitch glitch.
We have a Mitch glitch. He's supposed to be in full holiday vibe, okay? Because it's the holiday season. He's supposed to be putting together his giant pageant for the Christmas party next Thursday that I was actually invited to. I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but I'm coming. And he's AWOL. Okay, Mitch has not been here for the last 2 weeks. I don't know where he's at. He could be dead. I don't know. So I in the meantime, I have to do percussion. How's that? Okay, I guess he's not doing anything.
I think last time we saw him, he saw the big gold glove on top of the Westport Plaza building.
The clam?
And he said, there's a big snowstorm coming. I'm going to get my sled ready and take it down that bad boy. And then, 15 stories later.
That's it.
Flat as a pancake.
I guess
And
so.
Also the way he sings, flat as a pancake.
Total loser. Let's find somebody else. Is that guy that hangs out by the car wash, is he still available?
Of course he's available.
Well,
he's not got good percussion because he's always got his big mittens on. When he claps, it's just like you can't hear it.
I bet he doesn't smell very good either. That's not nice.
That's going to be a problem.
That's not going to work. Well, okay. Well, we got a big show coming up when we come back. In the meantime, I'm going to let everybody guess who's coming on. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Gary Weigert on running for Justin Sparks' legislative seat. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who refers to Missouri's personal property tax as a PP tax and thinks they should be flushed away ASAP. Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And now my other good buddy on the line here is the police sergeant. He's involved with politics. He may be taking over Justin Sparks' seat. I will not steal any more of his thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gary Weigert. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for that intro.
Oh, you want me to do it again?
I like
because
that.
I practiced it over and over, and Laura kept saying, no, you have the pitch wrong. Try it again. But we're just going to go with it, okay?
Sure.
All right. Now, here's the deal, all right? And I need you to kind of like sort through this because, my brain gets flummoxed. But, okay, so Justin Sparks, he and my buddy Joey here just set me straight on this. He said, apparently he's left, okay, but because he's going to Homeland Security, but he wasn't appointed. He applied for a job. Either way, he's going to Homeland Security. His seat is now vacant. His seat, like the seat in legislature, not his pants seat. And somebody has to take this, and you are now in the running for it along with some other people. Do I have that right, or did I totally mess it up?
Yes, that's pretty accurate. Getting down to the nuts and bolts of it gets pretty complicated.
Okay, well, that's why I want you to explain it.
So, 4 years ago, we had an opening where a guy resigned, and then the party picked Justin over me. And so now we're going to go through the same thing again.
Okay.
And what I'm looking for is, I would just like the people to be able to have a choice and pick someone in a primary.
Yeah.
So we will, we'll vote in August for the primary. I think we register in February or March for the actual election.
Right.
So now if we have a special election, that has to be called by the governor. Now, I didn't know when Justin was going to quit. I had an idea he was going to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed in him. He should finish his term. When you get elected, you should fulfill your responsibilities.
Yeah, I always think that, too. I mean, it's kind of like the Attorney General thing. I mean, I understand things come and stuff like that, but I mean, once you've gone to the trouble and the people have put their trust in you, you kind of ought to fill out your obligation.
Yes, just play. I mean, I did that when I was on the police department. I did my 35 years and fulfilled my obligation to them, and I think you should do that. But
okay.
So I know Justin has a handpicked guy, and I think he wants him to fulfill that seat. Justin wants to be able to pick who replaces his seat.
Okay.
But I think that the people should be able to pick who replaces his seat.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm hoping that the governor does not call a special election.
Well, how would this work? So if they don't do a special election and they do wait till a primary in August, I mean, who's doing it between now and then? I mean, who's filling the seat then?
No one. And that's the bad thing about Justin quitting like this. I mean, he just quit. I mean, right while everyone's pre-filing their bills right now.
Yeah.
And so, I just don't understand the quitting part.
Okay.
And so now if you have a special election, it will go in front of 6 people. I will be one of them, but I know I don't have the votes to get elected.
Okay, now explain this, because when you say a special election, I mean, to me, that's like, it's going to be like a primary or something like that. But no, this is actually like a committee, so that's how this works?
So the committee will nominate someone who goes to a special election. So the Democrats will nominate someone, the Republicans will nominate someone,
mm-hmm.
and then the governor has to call for a special election. He notifies the head of the Republican Party
mm-hmm.
and the head of the Democratic Party here in St. Louis County. Says, okay, we're going to have a special election. Send me a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have the 6 people in that congressional district, and that will be Chesterfield, Wild Horse Creek, and Merrimack.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be 6 votes. And then they will pick a Republican. And then the Democrats will pick a Democrat. And then you will have an election. I'm guessing it would be in April.
Okay. So I didn't realize this now. So, okay. I thought if you were a Republican or a Democrat and you let your seat go, that somebody within your party just, that's who took it over. So you're saying that this opens up the opportunity for a Democrat to actually come in and take the seat.
Correct. So we had, what's the girl's name? Jean Evans.
Jean Evans, sure.
Jean Evans got elected.
Okay.
I mean, she won her primary, and then she quit right away. So then we had to redo it, and they did they nominated another Republican, and that Republican lost to the Democrat.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't think the voters like this type of stuff.
Right.
Where you quit and you replace them with someone else. I mean, when someone votes for you, I think that means something.
Right. Well, is it in any situation, like say, I guess, I don't know if it was the Attorney General or not, but I mean, can the governor actually appoint somebody as opposed to there being a special election, or is that not constitutional?
Right. That's not constitutional. So for the state reps and I believe the state Senate, the party will pick someone to fulfill the term,
Okay.
each party, and then you have an election to see who's going to win. So, I mean, the trouble is for the Republicans that we have a number of Republicans who have resigned because we have a lot more of them. And now the Republican Party has to defend those seats. And that's just a waste of our money.
Right.
To make sure we win these seats.
Okay. Well, now you're coming in and you want the seat, and I've known you for a long time, and you put the caucus rather that we were involved with, the grassroots that ended up winning. You've got a good track record, and you've got a lot of background and experience. What would you like to bring to the table if you're elected or appointed or whatever we're calling it at this point?
Right. So probably one of the main things I would like to do from the state is, I was a police officer for a long time. I was involved in, I was working during the riots with Michael Brown,
mm-hmm.
and I saw what happened there. Well, all these police departments have downsized, and
mm-hmm.
we really do not have the manpower for. Let's be honest here. When there's an election to replace Trump, the Antifa and all those forces are going to step up, and they're going to step up riot season.
Yeah.
And I don't think right now we are prepared. And I would like to see a state force that basically travels around for the protests, because like in St. Louis, we're down to 800 policemen.
Yeah.
Well, we're not prepared for riots.
No. And yeah, go ahead.
So I would like a state force that's put together, that trains periodically as a team, and then they will travel to different locations when there's a problem or an ongoing problem, and you send them there. And one of the main things I'd like to do that would come from the state is that, so if we lock up protesters in the city of St. Louis, they're just going to let them go.
Right.
They're not going to do anything to them.
Yeah.
I would like to see the jurisdiction come from the state, and it would come from Jefferson City.
Mm-hmm.
So that way the jury pool, everyone would be picked from Jefferson City, a better jury pool than what we have in St. Louis City and Kansas City. Now, this is a big ask. This is a big, all these things are a big ask,
mm-hmm.
but I think we have to be prepared. We had 7,000 people at the No Kings rally, and that's in St. Louis County. That's not even, that I consider that, Republican territory where that was.
Right.
And so if they can put up 7,000 people, just picture 7,000 people in St. Louis City. And then you got the potential for a lot of trouble.
Well, my friend, we are out of time, but I want to thank you for coming on. I want to hear more of the details as we get closer to the date. And as soon as something does get closer and you have more information, give me a shout and we'll get you back on, okay?
You bet. Hey, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're the best, buddy. I love you. Take care. Well, there he goes, Gary Weigert out there. I tell you, he's a firecracker. He's headstrong and he gets things done. And like him or not, he's good at what he does.
I'm really upset about this district that Justin Sparks is abandoning. It's the 110th House district.
What does that mean?
And back in 2022,
you have 110 houses?
It used to include Eureka.
Yeah.
It definitely includes Wildwood, and then they shifted it. They got rid of Eureka, and now it includes Chesterfield. So back in 2022, it used to include Eureka, which includes our favorite theme park, Six Flags.
Yes.
But now that Justin Sparks wasn't able to fix that place up, it is gone to butt.
You think that's why?
I think that's why. Ever since they changed the House district, Six Flags has just been falling apart. Rides aren't up and operating when I go there. A lot of stuff is made of wood, like the mine train.
Yeah,
and
sure.
it is rickety-rackety, clickety-clackety. You think you're going to die when you're on that thing. The
Oh,
Screaming
yeah.
Eagle, the Ninja,
No,
the
they don't
Boss.
call it that anymore. They call it the Screaming Pigeon now because it went downhill.
Mm-hmm. And it's just awful. And then, of course, they installed those autism-friendly sensory deprivation tanks.
Right.
For who? For the people that don't want to go on roller coasters at Six Flags?
You're getting
They've
pretty,
gone woke over there at Six Flags.
You're getting really heated about this. I think, and I could tell you over there getting all worked up when Gary was just talking, I think you actually want this seat, don't you? That you do, don't you?
I've looked up the rules to run for this seat that Justin Sparks has abandoned, and you have to be 24 years old.
Yeah.
And you make a sweet $42,000 a year, $125 a day per diem.
Get out of here.
But the big sticking point, can't have any felonies, and you got to pay your personal property tax.
Oh, really? Oh.
So maybe if this won't even affect me because I don't even live in this district, so that's a big sticking point.
That's okay.
But I'd pay all my property taxes, get caught up, and then I'd eliminate them. That'd be the first thing I do when I got in there, so I never have to pay it again.
And then if you have any felonies, I mean, you could just eliminate that too.
I'd pardon myself.
You would.
I'd pardon you as well for that stuff we did at Six Flags.
Well, actually, I was in the safe room, okay? But I can't tell you what I did in the safe room. But I tell you what, it smells like pee that you don't like.
Oh, okay. Hey, anything warm and wet does relax me. That's why we have hot tubs.
That's what I like. Don't pee in the hot tub. Well, when we come back on that note, we've got investigative reporter Elliott Davis. The guy's a legend, and we're going to see what he's been up to. In the meantime, I am Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, investigative reporter and TV legend Elliott Davis. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who isn't a detective, but he has gone to the east side to eye some privates. Todd Showalter.
Hey, we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy Joey V. And sitting with me right now is a great pleasure of mine. We've spoken on the phone before, but Elliott Davis, my friend, you've always been a legend, but now you're like legendary. You keep moving and shaking, and you got all this stuff going. You've got your Elliott Davis. You've got the online TV station going now. You've got like all these followers. You're like, what do we call it? You've gone viral.
Influencer, yeah.
You're an influencer. I mean, I don't feel worthy sitting next to you, my friend.
Well, not to worry.
Well, I tell you what. And by the way, I said my wife is your biggest cheerleader.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I tell you what. But you came in here right now, and you said you just came from a news conference with the mayor, and you seem pretty excited about it. Why don't you just break the news? What you spoke about?
Well, she talked about what her administration is doing for the homeless, because I had felt that they were moving too slow earlier in the year. I felt that more should have been done, more should have been done quicker. But she is doing something.
Right.
And so she talked about all the things that they were doing, and also talked about the streets. Obviously, that's what did Tashara in when we had that bad storm, and they performed so poorly on it, disastrously, I should say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be nice today, Elliott.
You don't have to be nice today. It's like, sorry, we're not nice.
But she's gone. Tashara's gone. And so I think Kara, obviously, she saw the impact that had on Tashara, and she said, not me, not on my watch. And so I really do think Kara pulled out all the stops. Mayor, the mayor, I think she pulled out all the stops, basically, and got her people moving. Kara Spencer got her people moving, and they did a pretty decent job. And I think she said, I don't want that to happen, or you're not going to be here. So anyway, she talked about what she was doing for the homeless. I think some of it's good. She's taken some initiative to do something. She is doing something. She's trying. Are there more things I'd like to see her doing? Yeah. For the tent encampment, for example, I wanted a warm-up bus over there. There are 45 people over there. And so far, the city has not done enough for those people. Now we're just saying, hey, put a warm-up bus over there. The people can't walk to the transportation centers. They can't get there. Too far away.
Right.
And I said, well, can't you guys maybe take some blankets or gloves or something over to those guys and help them out? So my feeling about, and she talked about what they were doing, and also I raised a point, though. Mayor Spencer is doing something. The county is doing very little, next to nothing.
Right.
Sam Page, the county council, they have really fallen down on the job, and they have not picked up the gauntlet or anything, and they're leaving it all on the city when the county needs to do more, because 30% of the homeless are from St. Louis County.
That's right.
But we can't get the county to do anything. They were moving forward for the dogs, and Larry Rice was at the county council, talking about how the council was doing all these things for shelters. One has been $17 million for a shelter for the dogs, while they didn't want to do anything for the homeless. Council decided not to go forward with $17 million dog deal, but they still are not doing that much for the council. So,
well, for
the homeless.
One of the things, you've got all these, and I don't even know if it's feasible, but you look at, you've got all these abandoned buildings, in downtown St. Louis. Now, everybody's moved out and things. And you've got all this supposed Rams money. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing about the Rams money. I don't know how long it's been around. I don't know even how much of it is still even available. But why can you just, it's kind of like when the station was at Union Station, you'd see all these potholes, like on Market Street and things like that, and the city couldn't figure out, what are we going to do with this money? Well, why don't you fill up the potholes to begin with? So some of these things are right in front of you, and I think the homeless situation falls into that camp. I mean, if you have all of this money and you've got these abandoned buildings, I don't know if you call it the homeless hotel or what, but why can they not have some type of structure, some type of facility in the city with all this vacancy and all this supposed money? To me, it sounds like it could be done relatively quickly. And instead of all this talk, just go ahead and do something. And it doesn't have to be elaborate, Elliott. I mean, Larry Rice is the New Life Center. That's not the Ritz-Carlton, okay? But I think you could have a facility, and I don't think a long-term facility, and because you want people to get jobs and get on with their lives. But why can't they do something with the resources that they actually have in hand?
They could have reopened, given Larry Rice the help, and he would have raised the money on his own to reopen his own building, New Life Evangelistic Center, that would house like 400 or 500 homeless people.
Sure.
And he'd been doing it for 50 years.
I know.
The city shut it down. Mayor Slay shut it down. Subsequent mayors would not reopen it. The problem with abandoned buildings is that it's too expensive. It would cost taxpayers too much money. For one, you'd have to renovate the buildings, and renovating the buildings, that could cost you $200,000-$400,000.
Right.
Then you'd have to put a staff inside the building to run it.
Right.
And so, how much would this cost you to have a staff to run this place? Well, you spend $1 million a year. So
it's not economically feasible.
Economically, it is not feasible to take these old abandoned buildings because it would just cost too much money. The homeless problem has gotten worse in St. Louis and every other city.
Right.
It is just this huge problem, and caused by a lot of different factors.
Right.
And a lot of it is that, for example, we had Doge, for example. Remember when all the people got thrown out of their jobs in the Doge program?
Right.
Tens of thousands of people. Well, some of those people are probably homeless now because they lost their jobs. We had a tornado. So thousands of additional people may be homeless because they were staying with the homeowner. When the house got wiped out, maybe the homeowner got a little bit of money from FEMA, but the relatives and friends and all those other people in the home, they got nothing. So they're out on the street. It is a growing problem. And the city does get money to do something to help the homeless. The city is not doing enough.
Right.
They should have been doing more. We're not organized enough. I started raising this issue back in right after the mayor got elected, but it seemed like they were dragging their feet and got going when it got close to being cold. But like I said, St. Louis City is doing something. St. Louis County, they're doing little to nothing.
Yeah, and again,
but I'm gonna be nice today.
No, you said you're going to be nice today, but I mean, I think if I ask you enough inappropriate questions, maybe I can make you angry or something. No, I'm not going to go down that road. Joey will do that, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis County, they say they're $80 million in debt, and they don't even know how to take care of their own buildings.
Yeah, and that's just it.
But they weren't always $80 million.
I know.
Look at all they had, a couple $100 million in ARPA funds that they had. So during the whole COVID deal, I mean, they got all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars that they had at their disposal. Most people couldn't figure out how to spend the money.
Right.
The money just laid around, just gathering interest because nobody knew how to spend the money. The city of St. Louis didn't know how to spend the money. So it just languished, and they ended up at the very last minute trying to come up with anything and everything to throw money at to just get the money out the door. And so they've had resources, but the homeless issue has just not been a priority. for these governments, and so not enough has gotten done.
Well, do you think there's just too much? I mean, because you look at bureaucracy, you got everybody that's got to justify their position. They've got to do. It just seems like, because I was watching, I think Kara Spencer, I think she's doing her best, and she's still relatively new at the job.
She's not doing a bad job.
Well, right. And
so far,
the interview that you had with her that I watched yesterday, it seems like, because you had a lot of valid questions and points, and it seems it's still. I know that she was answering the questions, but there's some of them weren't as direct. Okay, so do you think what can we do to streamline things? Do you think that do we need more? You talk about the homeless problem. We talk about the situation with the tornadoes. We talk about the crime. We look at all the things that plague St. Louis. Do we just not have the right people in place that know how to handle this stuff, or what can be done about that?
I think that you have to have one. People have to be more focused. Mm-hmm. And so what we have now are the progressives in charge. I think the mayor is doing a pretty decent job insofar as she can do it. She's handling the tornado deal reasonably well as anybody could have handled it.
Right.
I think she's evolved into a pretty good people person and a decent communicator. However, we have the progressives in charge.
Right.
And so you have the progressive philosophy. Well, what does that mean? Well, for the crime issue, that means that nobody's going to be tough on crime. Nobody's going to be as tough on criminals. I don't want to offend you.
No offense.
No.
Criminals.
So
I'm used to being offended.
I don't want to come on here and offend you by the way I think about these things. But my view is that a tough approach has to be taken on crime, on criminals.
Right.
And you have to send that message out.
I agree.
And Mayor Spencer has not done that. That was part of the criticism of her that I embarked on when she first got elected, and then the tornado hit, and so that kind of took everybody's attention in that direction. St. Louis will not get off the ground until it deals with crime and criminals.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're going to have, just like New York, and I know a lot of people are not going to like this. New York got off the ground dealing with crime when Giuliani got to be mayor in the mid-'90s.
That's right.
New York was going down the tubes.
Sure it was.
It really was. I was going to college up in New York. And so I was in New York back in the 70s. What, 70s? I was in college.
Right.
But so I'd go down to New York and Times Square and everything, and it was a cesspool.
Oh, it's Beer City. They call it Beer City.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
And then Giuliani, who had been a U.S. attorney, came into New York as mayor, and helped lead to clean up that city. And during his administration, crime got cut like in half during his first term. And so crime just steadily started going down because he took a tough, no-nonsense approach on criminals, right? But what we got right now with the progressives is people who are afraid to take a tough stance on criminals. It's like they believe they're not going to get reelected if they even use the word criminals. Yeah. So it's like, it's always interesting to hear them talk, and they very seldom will talk about the victims of crime. It's only when somebody gets maybe out of jail who was in prison unjustly or something like that, that they will really have a lot to say. But they never call like the people who are victims of horrendous crimes. They could get on the phone, maybe call the victims on behalf of the city and say, "Hey, we're sorry this happened, to your loved ones." But it's like they do not want to take a tough position against the criminals. Criminals feel like they can get away literally with murder, and this city, St. Louis. They can build the best convention center in the world. A lot of people are not going to come because of all the crime.
Sure,
they could have saved $500 million and put it to fight crime.
Well, we just had Gary Weigert on, who was he was 35 years with the police department, St. Louis Police Department. He was a sergeant. He was actually the head of the police union, and he said they're down to 800 cops. They used to be over 2,000. Because they're demoralized. I mean, it would go back to the time where they just let the criminals back out right after they had arrested them.
And defund the police. Let's not forget that.
That is the stupidest thing. I don't know about, and again, I'm just going to be, that's in my own opinion, but who in the, defund the police? There are a lot of really dumb ideas. Okay, but how? I mean, I don't. You can call it progressive. I call it progressively stupid because I mean, defunding the police, that is just inviting crime.
Yeah, and people at first, to progressives and liberals, it sounded like a great idea. Let's defund the police and have social workers answer crimes.
I know.
So if you're, being attacked or raped, whatever the case might be, we'll send a social worker and maybe that'll deter the criminal. What people found with that whole defund, even in Minneapolis, where this whole thing originated, but what people found was that the criminals became more emboldened, their neighborhoods became less safe, and they said, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on? The criminals are getting worse. Well, that's going to happen because the criminals saying, good, they're putting handcuffs on the sheriffs now, on the police now. Okay, this is our time.
What do you just see? I mean, I think it goes back to, I'm a big common sense guy. It just seems like over the last decade, I mean, maybe 5 years, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of common sense. It just seems to have gone out the window. And you look at the progressives, you look at a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to totally bash them. I'm obviously not a fan, but it seems that a lot of
you were a fan.
No.
I thought I was offending you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm an older guy with a mullet. That doesn't make me a liberal, Elliott. I'm just an old guy with crazy hair here. I'm about as conservative as they can be. I got my red, white, and blue underpants on. I'll show you if you want. But
no, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think. You look at some of these. Just the common sense factor. When you look at it, I don't understand. It's not political. It's just like there's right and there's wrong. If I say this is an apple, this is an orange, then we're not going to debate about it. I mean, that's what it is. And you have certain things that these progressives, I mean, it just got to the point where when are people, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, what, this is just far-fetched and silly.
Well, if people looked at some of the Democrats, for example, of old, and I'm 73.
Right,
so I was around when Kennedy was president. If you had listened, I was a little kid in grade school, but I was still around. But if you had listened to John Kennedy right now, he would have reminded you of Ronald Reagan.
Oh, he would have been a Republican. He would have been a Republican today.
And even if you don't have to go that far, even with Bill Clinton, when he found. He found religion, as he was into his first term, and he saw himself going downhill, and he had to get rid of half the people, and Bill became more conservative. But, but you had some Democrats like that, and so you couldn't tell the difference in some of them as you could some of the conservatives today because some of their beliefs and philosophies were the same.
No, that's just Bill McClellan. He was a neighbor of mine, and he's a friend, and he's a hardcore Democrat. I'm a hardcore Republican, and so, but
I'm just a nice guy.
You are they call you're the umpire. That's what you say. You call him as you see him. That's what you say. And I like that. But when I say I'm a Republican, I'm just more conservative. I mean, the thing is, but he'll be the first to say, hey, this is not the same as when I was, younger and things like that. You've got now these like extremists. And one of the things I think, and I want to get your opinion on this, we've got outside interest that are coming in, and I think it plays a big part even in St. Louis. We have elections that are being, whether it's George Soros, other groups that come in, and they with an influx of money and funds to spread these progressive ideas that I think they're meant to destroy everything we've got as Americans in our cities and whatnot. You look at what happened in New York City with that mayor. That was a very funded by Soros situation. You see this spreading like a cancer. I mean, is it so much? I mean, that whole thing, are we actually fighting they want us to fight ourselves, obviously, because, you divide and conquer. But how much of an outside influence do you think plays into the St. Louis situation?
A huge outside influence. I covered Ferguson when that was going on.
Right, sure.
And most of the people at one point were outsiders.
Yeah. It
started off as kind of a black movement and black outrage when Mike Brown was killed. Wherever you stand on that, but it would start out as a black movement, but white folks took it over.
Yeah,
and these are white outsiders, activists that came into Ferguson, took it over, and that's when all the burning and everything started. That's when all the violence started by people. And I would see these people and interview some of them. They're from like New York and Florida and California, and they had hotels and to get meals and all kinds of stuff. And they came in all from from the outside, and Ferguson was ground zero, and the people, the black people in Ferguson and the white people in Ferguson really ended up suffering because their shops and businesses and everything and community got hit hard.
Sure they did.
A lot of people lost their jobs and whatnot, and the people who were here from the outside, Antifa, the people who wore the mask, they were here. I mean, it was an amazing thing to watch, but ultimately they left when it kind of dried up for them, and the people kind of saw the light and said, hold up, wait a minute.
Right.
So you are absolutely right. The influence of the outside agitators, the outside people who came in here and disrupting St. Louis and led to really a huge setback for Ferguson, because the people who lived in Ferguson, they had a different view. Like I said, it was a black movement to start with, but then white outsiders came and took it over.
Yeah, and that seems to happen a lot. I don't know. That's a big pet peeve for me. It's not so much a racial thing, but you've got like a lot of these like progressive white. I even picture them in my head. They kind of have a look to them that come in and they're going to take a cause, and this is going to be our cause because we don't think you're good enough to handle it on your own. Like, I mean, to me, that is the most self-serving. The only people that serves, it's like virtue signaling. That is, it doesn't help anybody but themselves.
And I gotta say this, it's like it's like in D.C. and a lot of people may not like it, but of course I'm not in the business to be liked.
Me either. No.
But you look at the president made an effort to try to crack down on crime in some cities.
Right. Yeah.
Washington, D.C.
Right.
It looked at Memphis, Tennessee. It looked at Chicago. It wasn't mentioned of St. Louis once. But what happened is that all these activist groups fought it tooth and nail, right, and said, we can't get rid of crime. Well, we can't fight criminals. What do you mean? We love these criminals. But the people in the neighborhoods, right? When you listen to the people, they're saying, boy, this is better than I've ever had it. Why? Because they could walk down the street. And we saw a huge drop in crime and in some of these areas. And the people, the poor people, were saying, hey, in Memphis and other areas, I can walk down the street. Yeah. Maybe I don't have to worry about my kid being killed and whatnot. Right. And what I was saying is that a lot of these groups that pretended to care about the black community didn't. Uh-huh. And they could care less. And if Trump wasn't the president doing stuff, they wouldn't even be protesting that. No. So they did not care about the people. They didn't care about the black lives that were getting killed, like 573 in Chicago in a year. Mm-hmm. Nobody said anything while that was going on. It's just that now, they were talking about it, but that was one of the issues, and so I think people could really see it, and I think that a lot of black folks even start to see it. I mean, there, of course, are a lot of people who are with the radical element or whatever, but that's okay. But I think a lot of people in the community says, hey, no matter who the president is, if they're trying to do something to make this neighborhood safer, and I can walk down the street without getting shot, or my kid has a better chance of getting back home, bring it on. And that's what some of them start saying.
No, exactly. And that's just it. That goes back to the whole common sense situation. Nobody wants to live in a community that's, filled with crime. That's going to bring me back to, I'm going to bring up the media. I mean, you have certain things where obviously crime was going down. Okay. And so things were getting better. Now, you do have those people you're talking about that were really happy about it, but that wasn't really reported on too much, was it? I mean, how much do you think now, especially in all the years you've been in the media, do you think the media is as objective as they used to be?
I don't know about media as a whole.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the individuals. I think there are individual reporters who are objective, and you can really right now. Here's the thing. Right now, you can seek out your media source.
That's true.
You got Fox News, or you got MSNBC, or you've got Joe Rogan.
Right.
You've got social media.
Yeah.
Like I'm on social media now.
And you're killing it.
Well, thank you. But you can now see media doesn't have legacy media, let's say it that way.
Right.
Doesn't have a stranglehold on information.
Right.
That's the difference. They don't have a stranglehold on information you get about certain politicians.
Right.
Because there are other sources that will get the information out there. And so I think the public realizes it. How do I know the public realizes it? You start looking at the ratings of some of these TV shows, TV stations and networks, and say, well, what's the ratings of so-and-so? Oh, boy, what happened to them?
Yeah.
The people decided to leave and go over here. Why? Because they felt they were getting a more honest treatment of the issues.
And don't you think, again, people bring up the times of, Walter Cronkite and things like that. When that could have been biased too. We just don't know. The thing is, I don't care. If it may be, I may not want to hear the truth, but I want to know the truth, and I think most people do. So you can go from one source to another, but at the bottom line, I think we all just want to know what the truth is and know, like I said earlier, what's an apple and what's an orange, and a lot of times that's not the case.
Well, just like we talked about, Kennedy would have been considered conservative now. Cronkite would have probably been there too.
Yeah.
But it was a different generation, different era. People saw things different. And people didn't start off being just down on America. People didn't start off saying, well, America's the worst country in creation, and we'd rather be, we like whatever it is better, any place. So you have people that feel that way. And so it's more difficult now, whereas before, when I was growing up, if there was something, a national accomplishment, the whole nation would come together, like the landing on the moon, for example.
Sure.
Where the whole nation came together. If there was a tragedy, the whole nation came together. Now, not as much. Now, things happen, and you got one group likes it, and another group will sit on his hands and not say anything.
Yeah.
Because what's going on, it's simple. It's not that complicated. The people out of power want to get back in power. So the poor people think they care about them, but not really. They just want the power of the White House.
Sure.
So they want to be back in. And so they don't want to do anything to make the guy who's in look good.
Yeah, and again, I've equated it before. It's almost like kids going through a divorce. You've got like the two parents like going at each other, and the American people seem to be the ones in the middle that are paying the price over these two bickering parents, which is a shame. You bring up also, how we have come together. You look at 9/11, how everybody came together. I'm hoping it doesn't take a tragedy such as that to bring us back together. But I personally, I've been around a while. I've never seen the country this divided, but I have to tell you, Elliott, I think it's on purpose. I think a lot of this division is being done purposefully because, again, if you say divide and conquer, united we stand, divided we fall. A lot of this, I would hope, and what I like the fact that you said you're the umpire, you look at both sides, because I do too. I try to look I try to see, okay, even though I don't agree with you, what is it you're trying to bring to the table here? Do you think we can finally get back to that? And do you think there's going to be finally some revelation or some wake-up moment where people are going to say, hey, wait, we've been duped here. We don't have to fight anymore. They want us divided. We all are Americans. Do you think there's going to be something that's going to unite us all as Americans again?
Nope.
You don't? Okay.
Nope. Because we've never really been that way. And it usually has taken a disaster for us to come together. If you look at the years before World War II, and we were in the midst of a depression, and there were all of these events happening. The Army went to Washington, D.C., the retired veterans, right? And they had this movement against the politicians in Washington, D.C. because they hadn't gotten paid.
Right.
And so they had pitched a tent. And so they had the active duty military led by MacArthur and company. They said, go, we want you to break up these tents. And so the nation has always had issues and problems. There have been racial wars. There have been all kinds of stuff. But what changes? A disaster, a catastrophe happens. So when World War II happened, what happened? All the things that we weren't going to do, we said, okay, we can do it. Let's go hire women. Let's bring them to the workplace. Okay, let's get minorities and blacks. Oh, they can join the military or they can do these jobs. And so things change. Why? Because of necessity. 9/11, things changed briefly, but 9/11 didn't have the impact that World War II did. World War II was a battle of national survival, and people said, uh-oh.
Yeah,
we may not win this. We better get together and do so. 9/11 was briefer, but it brought us together for that brief period of time. No different than any family. Families will fight like cats and dogs until there's an external threat.
Right.
And then they all turn on the external threat.
Yeah.
But before that, they're just warring like cats and dogs, right? But something happens and the family comes together. That's just human nature.
Yeah, well, I think it even goes deeper, and I know that you're spiritual, I'm spiritual. Do you think we're in a spiritual war? I brought that up before. Just some of the things, it's not even political. It seems almost at times, not at times, at a lot of times, that it's good against evil as opposed to right against left or so. I mean, do you think we're in a spiritual war?
Absolutely. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm saved. I believe in God, and God and the Bible talks about the spiritual warfare. Right. And some of the things that happen, it's hard to explain in any way other than it's a spiritual war, because some of this stuff does not make sense. The evil that people do. Why do you get on a train? Someone gets on a train and slashes the throat of a woman that he doesn't even know. Someone decides they're going to set another woman on fire on a train. So we look at all of these things that happen and we say, boy, this is not normal. This is, how do you explain this other than to say this is pure evil and this is part of the spiritual warfare? So I believe that.
Yeah, I totally do too. And when you fight something, it's only through faith. I mean, so you've got to have your faith, and like I know I do. Do you think this is going to be? I mean, you look at what happened with Charlie Kirk. Okay, it started a revival as far as Christianity. Right. I mean, do you think? I mean, and again, is bad. We mentioned 9/11. Sometimes you take these horrible situations, and sometimes indirectly they bring out the good. I mean, do you think that we're looking at something like that?
I think, the Charlie Kirk situation was a tragedy, a true tragedy, and we all lament and regret his death, but his death was not in vain. Right, and I hear that's what you're saying. Right. Because many other people will be converted. Yeah. Many other people will come to Christ. Many other people will be saved because of everything that happened surrounding his death. So his death is not going to be meaningless. Right. But God has a way of orchestrating things. Sure. Even though we may not see how he is working, but all throughout the Bible, we saw the way God do stuff. And many of the things we know is, well, why did he do that? But God knew what he was doing, knows why things work, and he knows why he took someone who was a believer like Charlie Kirk, why he says, okay, it's time for you to move on, but I've got a lot. You're going to make a huge difference, even in your death. You're going to make a huge difference, just like you read some of the notable figures in the Bible. Sure. Their deaths made just a huge, huge difference. And I think Charlie Kirk, same thing.
Well, I've heard it said it's almost like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You can't understand like the little pieces, piece by piece, but when you put them all together and you step back and you see the big picture, now you see why that small piece mattered. So I want to finish on getting back to St. Louis, just so we can recap where we started, or go back to where we started. I've been to other cities, and I've seen cities really had a resurgence. Nashville comes to mind as a big one. With the last couple of times I've been in Nashville, I've thought there is no reason why St. Louis cannot do what this city is doing. The last time I was there, police, friendly as could be, were like out on the streets welcoming people. It was bustling. They had Broadway there. I mean, it was like, they call it Nash Vegas. I mean, it was like, I don't know if we need to be that, but what do you think? I mean, aside from getting rid of the crime, which is a given, I mean, I just remember, as you do, like the times with the Central West End, the Landing, and things like that, where you would go downtown to the Central West End, have a good time, never worry about crime or being hurt. I mean, I've had some people say, I don't think it'll ever get back to that, but I personally think it will. What do you think it's going to take along with getting rid of this crime to do that? I've
been to Nashville, and I actually covered Nashville when they did a merger. With Nashville and the county, and so after they did that merger, Nashville really started taking off.
Right. Yeah.
So it took an action to cause to give Nashville that boost. Mm-hmm. St. Louis, I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong. That's not going to happen. St. Louis County, I don't think, wants to merge with St. Louis City until they deal with the crime.
Right.
Now, if St. Louis City can deal with the crime and get us off the most dangerous list, and so you can't say, well, we got crime, but then there's other things. Crime is it. It's the central problem in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. They've let it go too long. It's like having cancer, but you don't deal with it, and you just let it fester. Mm-hmm. You just let it go on, and they say, well, I'll give you a Band-Aid for it. Take an Excedrin, and that should do something. But we have not, and this is going back for decades. It's not just this mayor. This goes all the way back to Vincent Schammel.
Yeah.
So decades ago. So that people did not focus on the issues in North St. Louis, did not focus on all the people who were moving out, all the homes that were becoming derelict, all the neighborhoods that were becoming destroyed. City of St. Louis didn't focus on that. Mm-hmm. And so because they didn't want to focus on that, probably because it was black minorities, and they said, well, we'll do the bare minimum over there, and we're going to focus on all these other neighborhoods. How about the Central West End? Yeah, let's focus on that. But so we're talking about problems that date back 30 years.
So it's a long time.
They did nothing. Yeah. Had they done something, then we would have been in a position maybe of Nashville, but and then we had the tornado. Let's not forget that.
Sure.
And so now it's made it even worse. It's going to take a Herculean effort. Can it be done? It's possible, but you're going to have the right leadership to get it done.
Yeah, and I do think, and I'm optimistic about it. I do. I think there's certain things. I think there has to be a boost in the economy brought in. You talk about the north side, and we're just about out of time. But I think, everybody talks about building, North City. I think if you put industry in there, and I talked with somebody, I produce films. And so I said, you maybe put a film studio there. I don't know, something that's going to put people to work in that community where they live and actually build the community and not just look at, rebuilding homes and things like that, but just revitalizing the whole area. I think if you have economic development where you actually have people involved who actually live there, going to work in their own communities, take pride in it, not be like a bedroom community where you go to sleep and then you go work someplace else, but actually rebuild those from the inside out. I think that's what the city has to do as a whole, along with get rid of the crime, and they actually make it a boom economically as well as a place to live.
I think you have to turn that on its head.
Okay.
If you solve the crime, the other problems will begin to take care of themselves.
Right.
If you make it so that St. Louis is not on the list of the most dangerous cities in the United States, then maybe one of those studios will come in on their own. Maybe they'll say, hey, maybe I'll try St. Louis. It looks like a safe place to be. Let's try that. And they got a great story. They've turned the city around. They've made it a safe place. Then the people wouldn't mind fixing up their homes, doing all these other things. They wouldn't mind doing that on their own because it would be a worthwhile investment. You wouldn't housing value wouldn't be continuously going down because of all the crime. And so these things would begin to happen organically.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
But you have to deal with the crime first. If you don't deal with the crime first, nothing else matters.
I totally agree. I mean, who wants to? I mean, anytime you feel for your safety, I don't care if it's a business, whether it's your family or anything, everything stems from that. Well, I got so much I'd like to talk with you more about. I would tell you, you look great, by the way, with the whole blood pressure, journey that you're on, the whole thing. I don't want to ask what your diet is. It's probably a very low salt and kind of boring, but
it is. I'm eating all the things I don't like.
That's why we're not talking about, because my wife is going to listen to this and she's going to say, "Oh, you got to do what Elliott's doing." I don't want to go down that road, so I can still eat.
If you like it, you can't eat it. That's the general rule of thumb.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just skip that part, okay? We'll say you didn't have time to talk about it.
I don't mind.
But you look great. You look great.
You.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait until the next time you come in. And again, you're just skyrocketing when it comes to social media and your TV channel and the whole 9 yards. And, remember us when remember the little guys like us, okay?
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. Joe, you got anything else before we go?
I think the snow was taken care of pretty well by Kara Spencer. You know, when Tashara Jones was in charge, I just wanted her to drop off a bag of salt at the top of my hill that I could kick down for the next person
That's
to
right,
kick down.
because you were right there in Dogtown.
But Kara Spencer, now she's giving us little Bobcat tractors. We can get in between the one-way streets, and we can just plow right through. I love it.
You're looking at the fun factor.
The
then.
fun factor,
The
little
fun
Bobcat
factor.
tractors for
Gotcha.
everybody.
Okay, well, that's what he's all about, the fun, you know. And,
Gotta love it.
Gotta love that. Well, you know, I guess, did you have a fun time today?
I had a wonderful time.
Well, here's what we're going to do. I hope Elliott doesn't mind, okay? But we always sign off with our typical sign-off, which, you know, if you
don't have a right mind.
If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. But I want to ask a favor of you, if you don't mind. Could you please say, you've been listening to the Right Mind Show and you didn't pay for it?
Okay, you've been listening to the Right Mind Show and you did not pay for it.
There you go.
I told you not to ask. I told you you wouldn't do it.
I did it.
And
Well,
he did
that's
it.
going to do it for our show then. Elliott, thank you. That was a much better sign-off. I think we're going to use that every week if you don't mind. Can't wait till you come back and join us the next time, okay?
All right, buddy.
All right. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for us. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. Mitch, who has been AWOL for the last 2 weeks. We don't know where he is. And, of course, our good buddy, Elliott Davis, with us. Thanks for joining us. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.